Circle graphs actually come with two names. They are sometimes called circle graphs, and the other one is pie charts or graphs. So in this unit or this lesson, these two words are going to be used interchangeably. So as mentioned, charts are called pie graphs or circle graphs. And let's take a look at these two below. There's one pie graph that shows the different languages that are studied by students in a specific school. And the other one shows how people commute in Mathville. So just taking a look at the characteristics, all pie graphs should have a title, and all pie graphs should have a legend. Now, the legend in the left is this one right here. It tells you what the colors mean. In the right hand, the legend is actually written in, so the legend is illustrated a little bit differently, but both explain what each of the pieces of the pie refer to. Some of the pie charts have percentages listed, and some don't. So on the left, obviously, we know exactly what the percentage represents. On the right, we don't. So this little symbol is a bit messy, but it's percent. And circles are best used when you want to compare parts of a whole. In other words, this represents all of the commuters, the whole commuters in Mathville, and this represents all of the students taking a foreign language in that school. So you always have to have everybody represented in your pie or circle graph. So let's take a quick look at all the plots that we've seen so far. We started off this unit with scatter plots that look like this, and they track the relationship between two things. And so they told you whether there was a relationship, or if the dots were spread out with no pattern at all, there was no relationship. The line graphs were the dots, and we started to connect them and looked at trends in that way, and they're good for tracking changes over time. That's what this line graphs are very good at, especially when obviously time is on the x-axis. And they're especially good when the changes are small. So you can see subtle differences in a line graph. Bar graphs often do the same thing. They track over time, or they look like this. And it also could change over time, but these ones are better to use when the changes are large. Circle graphs look like this, and they're when you're comparing parts of a whole. So I just wanted to put the circle graphs in context with the rest of the graphs we've already looked at. So let's take a look at this 4 pieces of data and pick out which table would be represented best by which one of the graphs we've already looked at. So the first one is if we're measuring the temperature of water in a kettle, and so we're tracking something over time, and that would make sense that it would be a line graph then. So the time would be on the x-axis and the temp would be on the y-axis, and we'd have some dots that we connect to track that change. In example 2, it's the favorite activity of students So notice that if we add all these up, they add up to 100%. So we're tracking all of the students in a specific class or in a specific group, and that means that this is the whole. And so that's why a circle graph might be the best way to represent that information. If we talk about the example 3, which is how many days somebody studies and the score they earned, here we're looking for, is there a trend between days that you're studying and score? And we don't know, but a scatter plot would tell us that. So this one is a scatter plot. This one, sorry, I forgot to label, is a circle graph. Oops, not good spelling, circle graph. And then the last one compares a number of library books that are checked out over months, and that one is best as a bar graph. So hopefully that helps put the 4 different types of graphs in perspective.